But what really happened at that course destroyed me. I went into one of the exercises, and I never came back out. And I'm going to clarify, I didn't have a mental breakdown. It's not what it was. I literally broke my brain. And the definition, scientifically, it's my brain started to misfire, and so connections weren't being made anymore. And I can't really share what happened because my perspective of what happened is not even close to the reality of what happened. So from my perspective, I could feel something was wrong because I started to see things that I knew weren't there. And I didn't tell anyone, but like I'd be looking at the people in the room, and then I'd see all these colors and swirls and things dancing around them. And so I knew that wasn't real. But I didn't know what to do about it, because they looked like they were right there. And then, from my perspective, I just sat at the back of the room, and like time started to fast forward. It just started to speed up, and I lost track of what was going on. Now, what really happened was I was standing in the center of the room while this course instructor was going on, and I was yelling everything back at the course instructor that he was trying to teach. And again, my perspective was being at the back of the room. I had no idea what I was doing. So I was sent to the hospital, and at the hospital, the only thing I don't remember getting to the hospital, but I remember being at the hospital and talking to my mother. And that was the only thing that actually made sense, was my mother's voice on the phone telling me to do whatever the doctor wanted me to do so I could get home. Because I didn't mention this part, but I was in Ellenville, New York, in the US, with no health insurance. So my mother, being the practical woman that she is, she just wanted to get me home. So I did make it home. And for me, it was a 45-minute drive from New York to Guelph. And I don't really remember how I got across the border, what they said, and how I made it home. The next thing I remember was being in my bedroom and my mom telling me I had to get dressed. And I had no idea why. Not a clue. And I actually don't remember if I fought her on it or if I got, like, I literally don't remember. I remember that being important, but I don't remember why. And then I remember being in the hospital. And I remember seeing that I was in a hospital bed, and I remember feeling the panic because I'd spent so much of my life in that hospital bed having nerve blocks and waking up from anesthetic. And my first thought was, oh my God, did I just have a nerve block and I'm reacting to the anesthetic? Because it didn't make sense. And that was my moment of what I would say I was lucid. I really wasn't. And it turns out that I was actually chattering nonstop, and I was talking verbal nonsense. And I was saying words as if I was saying a sentence, but the words didn't make sense, like cat, dog, alarm, school, fire, course, work. Like, it just didn't make sense. But I thought I was making sense. I thought I was asking what's going on, but nobody understood what I was saying. And from there, I was sent to the Homewood, across the street to the psychiatric unit, to their level 3, which is the place they send people that are a danger to themselves and others. And I don't know how I got there. I have a vague memory of being in a taxi cab, but it's so out of place that I don't even know if it's real. But I know from what people tell me that it is real, and that that's the procedure. When you're in the ER, they have to put you in a taxi cab to send you to the psychiatric hospital. So all in all, my psychotic episode, my first one, was 5 days. But for me, it literally felt like I had woken up, gone to sleep, and just woken up again. And when I woke up and fully came to, I remember feeling absolutely fantastic. I felt like I had just had the best sleep of my life. Like I had just been on vacation. And I sat up and there was a window. As soon as I sat up in the bed, there was a window right there and it was a beautiful, bright, sunny day. And I didn't have a headache and I didn't have a backache. Nothing was tingling in my extremities. My body felt perfect. And what was so astonishing to me about that was because I had been going for treatment for so long, even with the nerve blocks, I was never really not in pain. And I would get asked all the time, what hurts? And it was like, well, where do you want me to start? And so to wake up from this and not have any physical pain, I just wanted to stay in that moment forever because I couldn't remember what it was like to be pain-free. And everybody and chronic pain sufferers hear all the time, you just need to meditate, clear your mind. Maybe it works for some people. It never worked for me, ever. So I felt fantastic. And I knew I was not in a good place because the room I was in was literally a padded cell, white padded walls. The bed I was on was nailed to the floor. And the mattress I was sitting on was actually sewn to the bed. And there was no pillow, and there was no blankets. Because I was a danger to myself. They didn't know what I would do. And I was alone in that room. And I wasn't worried at first. Like I knew this wasn't normal, and I didn't know how I had gotten there, but my body felt so good that I just didn't really care. But over the next few days, as they were trying to figure out what medicine to give me, because in that 5-day episode, the amount of drugs they gave me, nothing was working. And at the times, the doctor didn't think that my brain would recover. They thought I would be like that forever. And then they certainly thought that after that episode, there was no way I'd be able to lead a normal life. Because how do you go through something like that and go through it over and over and over again? Because I have had many episodes in the 13 years since. But I always come back to that place. My body doesn't hurt, my mind is clear, and I feel fantastic. And so as I did more studying and learning and enlightenment, I always thought it was so funny because I don't have a voice chattering in my head. When my hallucinations start, the voices are all outside. So I always say, I lost my mind, but I did find my soul. And it's taken me more than 10 years to be able to talk about this, to be able to share what I've been through, because the stigma of mental health is still very much alive. I can't tell you the number of times I've wanted to share something on Facebook, but I'm a business owner. I've built a brand. I've built a very strong reputation for myself. And I'm always worried, who will judge me? And then you hear about, in the news, the horrible things that happen, and I always die a bit inside when it's blamed on mental health. And I feel pain for those people because I do believe mental health is the issue, but when all we hear about are the tragedies, it makes it hard to just share. So I still live with psychotic episodes. It feels so weird to say it, because I don't think of myself as psychotic, but I am the medical definition of psychotic. And I manage it. And I'm not on any medication. And I do seek help when I need to. And I've been very lucky over the years to have the medical facilities available. I don't think they exist right now because of funding cuts. But I have a strong support system. So this is me.